Good Friday morning, everyone. I am more than excited to actually be here in the studio bringing you this show. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. But today is going to be an exciting day. We're bringing out a subject that is long overdue. The title to this show is Money Answers All Things. It's from Proverbs. I'm sorry, Ecclesiastes. It's from Ecclesiastes, and it's the wisdom of Solomon. We're going to be bringing out today, and an understanding of how money works and what it means to our society in a proper context. So we don't want to idolize it, or we also don't want to downplay its importance in our lives today. But I want to tell you something. I've been doing this for 19 years, bringing this message about money and how it works. But I want everybody to know that the universe is not antagonistic towards you. This creation is not antagonistic towards you. Everything on earth is made to prosper, even us. Okay? So I want you also to know that right now, as far as finances are concerned, in certain instances, I think we don't believe what we need to believe about money. I think some people have the mindset that something is wrong with desiring wealth. I think some people don't understand that it's okay to have wealth, to have money. And right now there is let me pull my notes over here so I can see my notes here, but because I don't want to miss a thing today. What's going on with money, I believe, is financial violence at its worst. The more I study, the more I find out we're living in an altered state of reality. Somebody is getting rich off of our efforts because we don't really understand how all of this comes together. What role do we play as consumers and workers in society in the hierarchy of building wealth? Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are conditioned to give away our wealth. We are stealing money from our children because we are not properly educated on our money. We believe that we are. And that is the huge problem. We don't know what we don't know. And what we don't know is fantastically huge. And the more I study it, the more I see that there is a need for us to be retrained, reconditioned, re-educated about our money. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm so excited to get right to the subject. So join me today as we talk about Money Answers All Things. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. Today, I want you all to know that we've been here. I've been doing this for 19 years, sharing what I've discovered about money and how it works. So today we're going to go in kind of a different direction so that we can have a different mindset about our finances. So let me show you this so that we can jump right in. All right, we're going to put this on the screen. So wherever you stand on the Bible, or I just want you to know that I believe that there's wisdom in the Bible. So let's uh, let's present it from that point of view. Okay, the wisdom that's in there, and I dare you to try it. I'm telling you, once you understand what this is all about, is for our so that human beings can flourish and do well in life. There is a treasure trove of wisdom in this book. So starting here, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Just think about that. You can transform your life by changing how you think. Have you experienced that? Have you read it in other books? Have you seen it happen for other people who, and even in yourself, where you have thought one way and your very thoughts actually bring you down? Your very thoughts about yourself, about life, about your relationships undercut your ability to thrive and flourish. But once you start thinking differently, you start acting differently. Once you start acting differently, then you will start to move in a different direction. And when you start moving in a different and positive direction, things start to change for you. But I'm telling you, it actually starts with how you think. All right. So this next piece of wisdom. Listen, I need all of you to share. Go ahead and share this. You're going to have to replay this over and over again, but please share it out to everybody you know right now, because what we're getting ready to do is transform thinking about money, transform thinking about wealth, transform your thinking about how well you do in life and what you can do. I'm telling you, once you start thinking differently about your role in this life, how about thinking of yourself as a servant as opposed to being served, doing well, like the golden rule, you want to treat people as you want to be treated. So once we understand that, I mean, that's going to be the basics, the basis of all that all that we understand today. All right. So here's another a piece of wisdom. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Oh my goodness. Once we understand that this whole system is set up for our success, not our defeat. I think we would listen. If I get up in the morning knowing that I'm going to be successful, knowing that I'm supposed to be better today than I was yesterday, so that I can listen, there's no lack. There's nothing that I can't do once I set my mind to it. So I think it's important for all of us to not only know that we were born, I think it's important to know what we were born to do. And I really do believe I was born to do this. Listen, I've never had so much fun than when I discovered that this was the thing that I am really, really good at. Sharing this kind of information to people, I get so energized. I just can't help myself. So I know that this is true for me. All right. So keep sharing, get this information out to people. All right. So listen, I need you to see this. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, "You shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the power to get wealth." What? The power to get wealth. Okay. So does that mean God makes you wealthy? No, it does not. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. I mean, right now, the birds are out making sure that they can feed their little families, okay? And the little chicks in the little birds in the nest are getting fed. But here's what I do know: God will supply the worms, but God will not drop the worms in the nest. Not doing that, okay? What we need to exist and not just survive, but we need to be able to flourish and do extremely well is given to you. All we have to do is find out what we need to do and do it. Just start. I didn't know I was going to end up here. You asked me about 5 years ago, Don, would you have a studio? Would you be talking to people like this? I didn't know. I had no idea that I would be here talking to you about this today. None. But I started. And once you start moving in a positive direction, then more information comes to you. I mean, it's kind of downloaded into your brain, what you should do and where you should go and where you're going to end up. Just keep moving in a positive direction and you will find out more and more what you're supposed to do. All right. Because no matter what happens, there are going to be those who are going to fight against you. There are going to be those who are going to be naysayers. There are going to be those who are actually going to try to block your progress. And this piece of wisdom, I absolutely do love. No weapon formed against me can prosper. Isaiah 54:17, because I go out of I leave my house daily knowing this is going to be true. No matter what you do to me, I can stay on task. I can stay on message. You can't get me off my task. You can't get me off message. You cannot hinder me. Why? Because I know whatever weapon is formed against me will not prosper. Will it slow me down? Yes. Can it hurt me? Yes. Can it stop me for a while? Yes. But will it ultimately get in my way and keep me from doing what I need to do? Will it change my mind? Nope, not even. So you can form a weapon against me, and weapons can hurt. Weapons can block. Weapons can do what weapons do. But ultimately, it's not going to keep me from prospering. So one of the things I believe is, because of our YouTube channel, these messages are going to live on and on and on. So as long as the internet is up, these messages will be out. We're putting it out on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. It's going out. And as we put these messages out, people are being blessed. People are being helped from these messages. Okay. So listen, continue to share right now, because people need to hear what we have to say today. Oh, and by the way, join us. Come on, join us on stage. Listen, I need you to click that link and join us on stage and share with us what you are thinking and feeling about today's subject. And also go ahead and put into, right into the comments. Comment today. I need your comments. I need your feedback. All right. And you can start with a good morning. All right. Good morning to you all. And tell me where you're watching from. All right. So put it in the comments today. Let's have a conversation. Please come into the studio today. You don't have to be on camera. Just come in and talk. All right. So I know somebody who has some input on the subject today. Here. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, we already went over that. So here's another one. But my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches and glory. Philippians 4:19. How much does the world hold that will enhance your life? How much is out there? There is no lack of resources anywhere. So when I look at my bank account and I see that there's no money there, and I look in my wallet, I see that there may be no money there. But that's not going to fool me. I know that there's no lack of resources. What do I have to do to make the fact that there's no lack of resources a reality in my life, even though I'm staring directly at an empty bank account and an empty wallet? I am not going to let that lie to me. No, not at all. Not going to let it lie to me, because there's no lack of resources. What do I have to do? What steps do I have to take? Where do I need to start to get to the place where that the fact that there is abundance, the abundance actually shows up for me, not just in my mind, but in my bank account? Listen, I have been there. I have been there where there was no money. But I'm telling you, my mindset was believing that there was no money. My mindset was there was a lack of resources. And now I know that is not true. There's no lack of resources. I was not putting myself in a position to receive the resources that are available. I started thinking differently, and then I started doing differently, and things changed. All right. That's what I'm talking about today. There is a boatload of wisdom here, ladies and gentlemen. And here's this: delight yourself also in the Lord, and he shall give you the desires of your heart. What can you think about? That's from Psalms 37. What can you think about? What you can believe, you can also achieve. Do you believe that? God will give you the desires of your heart. And what I believe this means, if you have the mindset to do well and to serve others. I read a book once. It's called The Go-Giver. And if you don't have that book, please go get it. I read that book, and one of the laws of stratospheric success in the book says that your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. Do you believe that today? Because I certainly believe that. Serve people well. And how many of you have heard of Zig Ziglar? Zig Ziglar was famous for saying, if you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want. Listen, that was true then. It is true today. So listen, let's have a different mindset about how we are going to achieve the desires of our heart, because our desires are noble. Our desires aren't selfish. Our desires are to serve others. And because you put that kind of energy out, guess what? That kind of energy comes back. I really do believe that today. Oh, and look what's next. Whatever a man sows, that shall he also reap. What are you planting today? What kind of thoughts are you planting? Okay. What kind of actions are you planting? What type of situations are you putting yourself in so that you can grow something that is worthwhile? What are you thinking? What are you doing? What's happening in your life that you are actually putting out some good seeds so that you can have a harvest later? You know what? And keep this in mind. The seeds you plant today, you can't reap a harvest tomorrow. Plant the seeds today, and eventually you'll have a harvest. So, because you'll see it tomorrow, don't give up. Keep planting. All right? Keep doing. Keep doing what's good and what's right. And I'm telling you, things will turn around. We have to have a good idea about what's happening, what's going on, to be able to develop that wealth that this book says we can have. I will open you, listen to this one. This is from Malachi 3:10. I will open up the windows of heaven for you and pour out a blessing so great you won't have room enough to take it in. I'm telling you, this has happened for me over and over. And let me get this water bottle out of the way. Over and over and over again. So listen, if you put yourself in that mindset that the windows of heaven, meaning for me anyway, that the resources that are out there are limitless. Now, does that mean I'm going to be a billionaire or even a millionaire? Listen, I don't know what the future holds for me, but I do know that I believe that I was born with a purpose, and that there's a certain level of success that I'm supposed to achieve. I really do believe that. I just don't know what level that is. But whatever level that is, whether it's here or whether it's here or whether it's here, whatever level that is, I want 100% of it. What about you? I want whatever is for me. I don't want less than what is supposed to be mine. I don't want less. I want exactly what is supposed to be mine, 100% of it. Be the best version of yourself. Does that make sense, everybody? Being the best version of yourself? Okay? So, as we start thinking about this, there are those who are trying to divest you of your wealth. The very thing that God has given you, somebody's out there trying to siphon it off, making you think you're doing the right thing. So keep this in mind. There's a way to think about this. There's a way to do it so that you can really understand what's going on. Try to see behind the curtain. Be present right now and just think about it. Stop thinking about your problems. Stop thinking about your job. Stop thinking about the future and think about now. What is going on right now? And your ability to make a living, your ability to bring wealth into your life, and think about who's trying to take it away and how they're trying to take it away, how you're spending, how you're investing, how you're saving, the house that you buy and the process behind the house that you buy. I'm just telling you, once you start thinking about it, then you might say to yourself, if I have buying a house at an interest rate of 6 or 7%, what does that do to make the lender wealthy? I have a house, but I have to pay them 139% of what I borrowed in interest. Okay, 139% At 7%, when you keep that money for 30 years, you're going to pay back 139% of what you borrowed to the person that lent you the money. That's if you don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. But once you understand it, you can pay 2/3 less, 75% less, if you understand what's going on. This is what I'm talking about today. Once you understand what's going on behind the scenes, you don't have to continue to live in that mindset, in that idea that we are being, financial violence is being inflicted upon us, and we have no idea. We don't even feel the pain because everybody's doing it, and it doesn't have to be. So we want people to wake up and understand what's going on behind the curtain so that you can preserve your wealth and not give it away. Whether it's money, whether it's your health, whether it's your relationships, whatever wealth you have, stop giving it away. All right. So here's what I like. I like this one too. Who will not receive 100 times as much now in this present age? You can, whatever you're giving, do you realize you can receive 100 times more? And listen, it's not just 100 times. It could be more than that. It's just trying to give you an idea that whatever you're giving, don't worry about it. Learn how to give. Be open to giving and be open to receiving. Once you learn how to give and stop getting out of the selfish mindset, here's what I know to be true. Let me ask you this question. How much would you give if you knew your resources were endless? How much would you give if you knew your resources were endless? And stop to think about it. Once we start thinking about what we would give, in the back of our minds, we're actually thinking, if I give too much, I won't be able to, whatever that is, you fill in the blank. Okay. So be careful about how you think about giving and doing for others. Even if somebody steals something from you, do you know how angry and upset I used to get when people would steal from me? And I realized that it was that anger and me being upset was actually based in fear that I somehow would not have enough or I would not be able to replace it. If somebody steals from me now, or I lose money because I tried something and it didn't work out, I don't think about it the same way anymore. Why? Because there's no lack of resources. And think about this. Let me put it to you this way. How many of you, 5 or even 10 years ago, lost a lot of money or something was stolen from you 5 or 10 years ago? If you're listening to me now, you've actually gotten over that because resources kept coming to you and you're alive today. Think about it. How upset you were at the time 5 or 10 years ago. Just think about it. How upset you were then and where you are right now. That's why I want people to start thinking about this, because what happened then and what's going on in your life now, you're not as upset about it now as you were then, because life goes on. And money and wealth still comes to you. Now, you can use that situation to learn from, but don't let it get you down on life and tell yourself that life is working against you. Life isn't working against you. These things are going to happen. And it's actually there to teach you that you can survive whatever. If it didn't kill you, it made you stronger. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Just think about that for a little bit. Okay? So continue to share with others. And here's something else. Give, and it will be given back to you. Give, and it'll be given back to you. All right? Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be put into your bosom. For with the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. So how do we go out of the house? How do we engage society? How are you doing what you need to do every day? What is it that you are, what are you giving? What energy are you giving? I mean, even, have you ever just tried going into a situation and just smile? See what happens. You're giving a smile. I hardly ever give a smile and a smile doesn't come back. You can brighten somebody's day just by going into a situation and smiling. Listen, and what happens when you smile, your words are different. They sound different. You look different. You act differently. And when that whole thing starts to change, not just you, but your whole surrounding, and you will say and do things you wouldn't have done before if you just start out smiling. Listen, it's energizing. That's why when I meet with you, I love to start out with a smile, even though I can't see you directly. But I know for a fact, because I'm smiling, you're smiling. I know that. Okay? I know that for sure. So, all right. So listen, I'm not seeing any comments. Oh, come on now. We have to be saying something that's worthwhile here. Can I get some comments back? All right. Or get you to click that link and say something this morning on the show. Share your thoughts today. I'm encouraging you. Can I get you to share some thoughts? Because it's very important that you share your thoughts. It's going to help somebody today. So practice. Think about this. Practice giving. And here's what I'm asking you to give. Give a thought today. Whatever the thought is, you can give it verbally or you can write it. So if you are on Facebook or YouTube, write your thoughts today. Give to somebody else. Give a thought. No matter what it is, it will help. Okay? Oh, listen. I like this one. Deuteronomy 28:2. Because once you put yourself in position, once you transform your thinking, once you start serving others, once you start sowing what is good and reaping what is good, guess what? All these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you. Listen, if you really break this one down, it's saying that blessings will run you down. They will chase after you and overtake you. You can't help but have good in your life if you practice these things. What else can I say? It's unimaginable. I can't even begin to think about how good this is going to be if you start thinking about what it is that you can do to plant good ideas, to plant good works, to plant good thoughts, to understand that and to work towards, watch this, work towards being the person you were designed to be. I'm telling you, whatever difficulties you're having right now, Don't let the difficulties you're having right now be the result of what you planted or what you sowed a few weeks or a few months ago. Okay? You want what you are experiencing now. You want that based on the good work you did last week, last month, last year, 5 years ago. Because those things that you did back then, you may not see the benefit of for months or even years, but it will come. And when you trace it all back, you'll say, oh, this happened because I took this class. This happened because I met this person 5 years ago. This happened today because of a trip that I took, and I met somebody on the trip and some knowledge that I picked up, but it didn't start to work for me until now. I see that kind of thing all the time. All right. So having the right mindset about wealth is very important to not only obtaining wealth, but keeping it. It doesn't matter how much you make. What really matters is how much you keep. You can make a lot and spend a lot. You can make a lot and lose a lot. But what matters is how much you keep and then what you do with it. Okay? A good person, all right, listen, this is a good one. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. That's Proverbs 13:22. I'm telling you right now that this whole society that we're in right now, we are not in charge. The ones who are in charge, the bankers, where anything that has to do with working, with money, with building wealth right now, okay? We're in a system, and in that system, we are generating wealth. And then our wealth is siphoned off. Now, if you have millions of people who have any sort of wealth, and you're at the top of the food chain, and you find a way to siphon off some of that wealth to you, times millions upon millions of people, then we now know what our contribution is to society, our contribution to the wealth chain and the wealth gap. If there's a wealth gap, you can close the wealth gap by understanding what you're doing in the whole system and by doing some things differently. Let me share with you some things that I've learned over time. And I want you to know that how we, just as an example, we're giving away our children's inheritance. We're supposed to be laying up an inheritance for our children's children. And I'm going to show you in just a few minutes one way banking is siphoning off more of our wealth than we need to give away, than we want to, so that we can produce generational wealth, that you can put away money for your children's children. And there's a very good reason as to why we're not. I'm going to come back after the break, and I'm going to talk to you about what it is, one of the things that we could do to preserve our wealth. We'll be right back.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
So one of the things that we're doing to siphon off wealth so that we can experience what we're supposed to experience is we're borrowing money the wrong way. I didn't say the problem was borrowing money. I'm saying we're doing it the wrong way. We're actually taught. Now, I've been doing a lot of study on this, and here's what I found out. That the things that we can do to save our wealth, we're not taught to do. But the very things that we are taught to do that are supposed to save wealth actually make the bank more money. All right. Can I give you an example of just a few of these things? So I'm getting a mortgage here. All right. Some people are getting a mortgage. All right. Or a car loan or using credit cards, and they're not putting themselves in a position to use that money in a way that it keeps them from paying the maximum amount of interest. You see, interest is nothing more than rent on your money. You're making other people wealthy because we don't understand how it works. We all know about prepayment. Let me tell you about something about prepayment. I was just studying on this yesterday. When it comes to prepayment, I have not been able to find a book, a university, a class, or a course that teaches this one thing. Watch me now. When I prepay my loan or when I pay more than the minimum, I'm not taught how to measure how much interest I just saved from that. And when I'm doing even more study about it, if I can't do that, if I can't calculate how much interest I'm saving, I can't calculate how to save the maximum. So everything that we do, we're doing to, when it comes to this loan, what we want to do is make sure we pay the least amount of interest that's mathematically possible. 35, listen to this now, 35 to 38% of our take-home pay is making other people rich. 35 to 39% of our take-home pay pays interest alone. Please take the time out. Take a look at the number of loans that you have and look into your statements and see how much interest you're paying on each one of those statements. Add it up and see what percentage of that take-home pay. 35 to 39% on average. And that's if you're doing extremely well. You could do very well and still make other people rich, richer than they need to be. You could preserve that. But here's one thing you can't do. If you're not taught how important it is to be able to measure what you're receiving when you prepay. Okay, so on this, let me give you an example of what we're talking about here. All right, I have to redo this part here, all right, because I got too many zeros in. Okay, let's take a look at this. Get rid of the ads. All right, here's a $420,000 mortgage. We're going to make this just a little bit bigger. $420,000. And here is what is suggested I pay in interest on that. That's 139.5% altogether. $585,000 interest on a $420,000 loan. That means by the time I paid this all money back, I will have paid out a total of $1,005,937.20. Where did I get that money? Where did I get all of that money? The money was lent to me, and now I'm paying back the money and interest. So somebody says, I'm going to lend Don money, and Don is going to make me wealthy because he's going to pay me interest on that money. And because it's a payment I can afford, I soon forget how expensive that payment is that I can actually afford. Does that sound like a paradox? How can something be affordable and still expensive at the same time? Well, it's easy. Okay, it's easy. I'm borrowing $420,000. They want me to pay $585,000 interest on it. It is not, that doesn't make it 7%. That makes it 139.5% because I'm not taught that. So what happens when I try to do something about it? Here's me doing something about it. I'm going to pay more when I can. And here's how you really need to think about it. How can I give the bank back their money and not affect my lifestyle and make it impossible for them to charge me that interest? That's how you really need to think about it. So when we understand what's going on, I need to find out how I can give the bank back their money and make it impossible for them to charge me interest. And then what I need to know is how much interest did I save with that one move? And then from there, I need to figure out, did I save the maximum amount of interest per dollar? Because all of that matters: how much you pay, when you pay it, and which loan you pay it to, so that you can figure out, so that it can be figured out how much interest you're saving per dollar. I want to save the maximum. I want all of my dollars to work as hard as they can for me and not for the investor that has my loan, because that's what they're doing. They're investing. And when they're investing this way, they get a fantastic return. So let me show you a little bit about the return. Can I show you how it's impossible to save to build wealth like we're supposed to build wealth from the money that we're supposed to be given? So you're making this money based on everything you know to do right, but you're giving too much of it away. So let's cut how much we're giving away, and then we could do more for building up wealth for our children's children. Let me show you here. Okay. So I could have put $100,000. Let's say you could have put $100,000 down on this loan. Okay. Well, let me do a different number. Okay. 420,000. Okay. Let me say I'm going to multiply it by 20%. Okay. That's $84,000. $84,000. I could have put it $84,000 as a down payment on this loan. Okay. And then I would have had a smaller loan by $84,000 for the next 30 years. Or I could use this money strategically to apply the principal once I had this loan. Now, I did a lot of work on this yesterday to be prepared for today, just to show you one thing we can do to preserve our wealth and stop giving it away, even though we started to change our mindset. Once you start changing your mindset about the money, you can do more to build wealth. So what if we let me show you this. without going into much detail right here, here's cumulative principal. Here's how much principal we put down on the loan. Okay? That's all your principal payments added up right here. Okay? So if we can put $84,000 on the loan right away, okay, I save it back and I apply it to principal right now. And here's what happens. Let me go down to $84,000. Look here. This is what it does to the loan. Should I put $84,000 as a down payment or as a prepayment? Okay, here's $83,851.35. Okay, if I put that money as a prepayment on this loan, that knocks off 152 payments I never have to make immediately. 152 payments I don't have to make. Plus, how much interest did I just save? $340,000 in interest. That's money that you did not pay to the lender, making them wealthy to acquire the same amount of equity. All right. So here's equity, $83,000. Okay. That $83,000 is the difference between how much the house is worth and how much you still owe. You've just increased your equity by $83,000. But if you increase your equity by $83,000 the way the bank wants you to do it, it will cost you $340,000 in interest. So you really don't have equity when you do the math. When you just look at one side and says, okay, if I sell the house now, I'll get $84,000 more when I sell the house. But we totally forget about the fact that it cost me $340,000 in interest to pay my loan down to here. Or I need you to see the difference here. Or if I took the $84,000 and didn't use it as a down payment, I could, or an extra down payment. You have to pay something down, unless you're working with a friend of mine, all right, Jerome Pemberton, okay, and he can get you into a no money down loan, all right. You don't have to make a down payment. You just need to be able to afford the payment. If you can afford the payment, don't put anything down, all right. Give me a call today, and I'll show you how you can put no money down. Call me at 256-886-1867. That's the office phone. 256-886-1867. We'll share with you how you can put no money down. All right. So let's say we can put no money down. We take that $84,000 and apply it to principal, and I'm paid down to right here, $336,184.65. If I do it this way, here's how much interest it cost me to get here. Let me show you. It cost $2,450 in interest. That's it. $2,450 in interest. So let's go back down to where we were, 84,000. Let's do a little math, okay? Here's how much interest the bank wanted to charge me to get to here, $340,000, $340,877.69. That's how much interest the bank wanted to charge me to pay the loan down to this point where I owe only $336,000. Or I could give it to them in 1 month, all right, and pay this much interest. So I'm going to subtract $2,450. That's a savings of $338,427 to get to the same place. Folks, if that doesn't turn your crank, I don't know what will. saving $84,000, we're taught to put that money as a down payment. So the things that we are taught to do actually make the bank more money. The more we're taught, the more people take advantage of the fact that we don't know what we don't know. And it literally becomes financial violence because we don't know it. And here's what I've found out. The majority of the people around the world don't know this to be true. If you're a regular member or coming into the broadcast here, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe. Share the YouTube channel with others so that they can see that this is a huge difference. A huge difference. It's not a small difference. It's a $338,427 difference in the amount of money paid to get this loan to the very same point. That excites me today. I don't know about you, but I'm totally excited about that. That I could save that kind of money. And so once we understand that, now we're going to understand some other things. So here is what we also need to understand of what's going on with our money here. All right. Money answers all things. When you understand how it works, we begin to understand our relationship between our God and our fellow man. Once we understand that, things go extremely well for us. Watch this. We begin to understand more. Okay? So if I'm supposed to pay $2,450 in interest here, okay, and my payment is $27.94. Okay, here's my whole payment. Okay, $27.94. The amount of interest that I pay is $2,450. If I divide it by my entire payment, here is what we don't understand and what we all need to understand. Get this if you don't get anything else. This is what we're doing to our future. This is what we're doing to our children's children, and we don't realize that we're doing it. That's what makes it so easy to do. My job, I believe my purpose is to make sure you know this. Okay, so if we take that, what we did pay, okay, $27.94. So we're going to divide it by $2,794.27 equals 0.876 or 0.88. Okay, that's 88% of your payment was discounted so that only $344.27 survived to pay back the loan. 88 cents out of every payment dollar was discounted so that only 12 cents out of every payment dollar survived to pay back the loan. That should wake everybody up. 88%. They're making 88% on the money that I worked for and paid towards my mortgage so that I can provide a home for my family. They made 88% on the payment. Do we want to continue to do that? That's my question. Do you want to continue to give that kind of money to the bank when you don't have to? 88% discounted. So we've learned not to put a large down payment on the loan because we've been taught to do that. and it's a mistake. We just learned that I have a payment that I can afford, but it's also expensive to maintain. A payment I can afford is still expensive at the same time because no one has taught me that my bank, the investors that hold my loan, made 88% on my first payments. And I'm only getting 12%. 12%, 12 cents out of every dollar. So watch this. If that's what's happening, I also am not taught how to optimize interest savings, how to get more out of my money. Now, I'm just going to show you prepayment of principal here. I'm not going to show you optimization. Optimization takes a lot of calculations to come up with exactly the right amount of money to prepay. But some of you have some money in the bank. Some of you have some money in the bank. Okay. After I make this payment to the bank, what if I took a look at my next payment here of $346.28? That's the next principal payment. That's next month's principal payment. But if I give the bank next month's principal payment, when I want to give it to them, I'm paid down to line 2 immediately. And they use this number to figure out how much interest I owe on the very next line, which puts me on line 3. Meaning I skip right over this $2,447.99. I just discounted what the bank is supposed to receive from me by $2,447.99. So what did I invest? I took money out of the bank. I invested it in my mortgage by a process of prepayment. I gave it to the bank when I wanted to give it to them. It made it impossible for them to charge me $2,447.99 in interest. What is my return on that investment? Okay, so now I'm getting the discount. You're getting the discount. When you do that, you're just preserved $2,447.99 for your children's children. And you can take that money and invest it over a period of years and build wealth for them instead of giving it to the bankers and letting it build wealth for the bankers. Okay. So $2,447.99. Okay. And divided by $346.28. $346.28. When I get the answer, I multiply it by 100. That's how you figure ROI, return on investment. Multiply your answer by 100. $706.939. That's almost 707% return on my money. Now let me ask you this. How long would you have to keep this $346.28 in your bank to make $2,447.99? You see, everything that we're taught to do, save your money, save your money, save your money. That's one thing that we're taught to do. Put your money in a savings account. I don't care if it's a high yield savings account of 4 or 5%. It doesn't beat this 706%. It doesn't beat that at all. When you understand prepayment of principal the way we're supposed to understand it, the way we're supposed to have learned. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. We should have learned this in school. And the reason why we didn't learn it in school is because it is so important for investors to make this money. Because our system is based on it. Once you understand the system, you can do something about how much money you make, how much money you preserve. So can I just help you to understand that something's happening with our camera, second camera. I want to take that off. Okay, I got to fix that. It's flashing. Hold on for a second. There we go. I'm going to take that off for today. I'll fix it later. Okay. Listen, folks. Watch. If you don't learn anything else from now, we're giving away too much money. The average family has 13 different debts. 13 different debts. And that's okay. What's not okay is for us not to understand that we're giving our children's inheritance away. That's not good. We don't want to continue to do that. Okay? So let's take a look at, we just learned by prepaying that you can save a lot of money. What else can we learn? What else can we learn about what is happening with our money? Do you know that if I go to refinance a loan, that it actually can hurt me greatly by refinancing, and I don't even know that it's hurting me? Did you know that? What if this loan came along? Oh, we could refinance this thing, okay, and get it at 5%. Okay, so here's something else that we've learned. Get it at 5%. And somebody commented to me on this, okay? We get it at 5%. And so what we're going to do is, let me see here. Do this so I can duplicate this loan. We're going to duplicate this tab, okay? And so instead of 7%, I can get this, let's say I can get this loan at 5%. That changes my payment. All right. And now that's what we have. I just refinanced this to 5%. All right. And get rid of this. Now, I would need you to think about this. Most people who refinance roll in the $10,000 in closing costs, roll in that amount of money into the loan, all right, to refinance. So let's just say I paid this loan down by $10,000. Okay. Okay. That means I had it for about 27 months. I paid it down by $10,000. And then 27 months from now, I refinance, but it's going to cost me $10,000 to refinance. That puts me right back to where I was. Okay. Okay. So it cost me $10,000 to refinance. I'm back to $420,000, but my payment has dropped to $2,254.65 instead of the $2,700, almost $2,800 I was paying before. Okay. Now let me show you what happens when you refinance. You have to pay back the $10,000 you rolled into the loan. Okay. This is another thing that is siphoning off our wealth so that we cannot use that money to build wealth for our children's children. We cannot, because it's gone. Now, let's pay back that $10,000. So you're paying back the $10,000 at $500 a whop. So what are you doing? You're actually paying $1,750, $1,747, $1,745. That's the interest you're paying on a $10,000 loan. You just don't realize that you're doing it. So to get back to where you were before you refinance, you have to pay off the $10,000. So to pay off $10,000 takes 20 months to get there, to get back to where you were at $409,000. How much interest did you pay to borrow $10,000? So you roll the $10,000 into the loan. You just paid $34,000 unknowingly siphoning off wealth that's supposed to be preserved for your family, $34,500 to borrow $10,000. That's a 340% loan, not 5%. 340%. You borrow 10,000, you pay back the 10,000, and you pay $34,000 in interest. That's 340% all day. This is a person with perfect credit. And we are somehow taught to ignore this. We are taught not to see this, that we are paying 300% interest on loans, and we don't even realize that we're doing it. Another way for the investors to win and for us to lose, even though we have a great house to live in and we're actually paying it down eventually. But they're still making so much more money. Would it make sense to you to be able to buy this house, pay the bank back their money in a time frame of your choosing, and because of that, pay them 75% less? That's when you get into optimization, ladies and gentlemen. That's optimization at its finest. So if you can optimize, knowing what is the least amount to give to the bank at any given time, the least amount, not the most. What is the least amount I can give to my bank on my mortgage, on my student loans, on my credit cards, on my car loans? What is the least amount to prepay to maximize the amount of interest I can save per dollar? Folks, when you get these loans, when you understand what's really going on here, when you get these loans, don't try to pay them off fast. Yeah, don't try to pay them off fast. Pay them off cheaper. I need you to preserve that interest money for yourselves. Pay the loans off cheaper. I mean 75% cheaper. And you will do well if you invest that money for yourself later. So, Don, what do you mean by 75% cheaper? Okay, let me give you an idea. Okay, and this is not an exact amount. I'm just giving you an idea of what 75% cheaper would be. $585,000 is the amount of interest that they want. $585,937.2 divided by 3. Okay, that's $195,000. Okay, instead of giving them $585,000, how about giving them $195,000? That's all right. Let me subtract the 585,000, 937 and 20 cents. Okay, that is a $390,000 reduction to acquire the same property. You can acquire the same property for $390,000 less. And because you're paying the least amount that you possibly can at a particular time, you're still able to have a great lifestyle. I mean, going on vacations. I mean, going out to dinner. I mean, having date night. I mean, taking the kids and build and developing memories with your children while you are making it impossible for the investors to charge you this money. Oh my goodness. Do you see how important this is to have the right mindset? That there's no lack of resources. We just need to retrain our minds so that we can take the resources that we have and to be good stewards over our resources and stop giving it to the bank. This is just one way of doing it, preserving interest. We're not even talking about how to invest money yet. We're not even talking about where to put the money yet. That's a whole different conversation. And it is a huge conversation. And we have people on staff that can help you with that conversation. What to do with the $390,000 I did not pay to get this house. I have a paid off house, $420,000. I don't know how much it's going to be worth because of my property appreciates. I don't know how much it's going to be worth, but it's going to be worth more. But I paid a whole lot less to get it. That's important to know. So, what if we are able to track how much we're saving? What if we are able to track how much we're saving and then initiate a plan to invest that money at 6 or 7% average over our working life? Oh, wow. Extra $1 million, extra $2 million to pass on to the next generation. And they don't have to keep starting at zero. We can start now. Even if you're starting late, like me, you can start late and still do well. That's what I'm talking about today. So listen, do I have any questions out there? Does anybody have any questions for me about how we can preserve our legacy and stop giving away our ability to create generational wealth or even more wealth by borrowing money for less, getting your loans at wholesale and stop paying retail for it? Can we do that? So can I show you some other things that we are taught to do that we shouldn't do? All right. And I'm going to show you everything that we're taught to do makes the bank more money. And this is mind blowing, what I'm getting ready to show you next before we get out of here today. Okay. Another thing that banking does is, let's see about how we can, if you want to save money, get a lower term. Change your 30-year loan to a 25-year loan, to a 20-year loan, or a 15-year loan, and you save interest. Okay? And you save interest. Let me show you what happens. You actually make the loan more expensive to maintain when you go to a lower term. Always get a 30-year loan, and we'll show you how to pay it off in 7. Okay? And not only your mortgage, but your mortgage, your student loans, your credit cards, your car loans, everything that is sucking the financial life out of you, we'll show you how to preserve it to invest later. And you can pay off all of your debt in about 7 years if you choose to, on average. So let me show you some other things that we're taught to do that we should never do. Okay? So here is a 30-year loan. We're going to change this loan to a 20-year loan. That's 240 payments. Okay, so now we have 240 payments, 20-year loan, and this is how it's sold. Okay, 30-year loan will cost you over time $585,000. Okay, but if you get the If you get the 20-year loan, it's only 361,000. Okay, so we think this is the way to go. I can pay it off in 20 years instead of 30 years. I'll save a whole lot more money. But let me show you what's really going on behind the scenes. Remember at the beginning of the show, I said, look behind the curtain. You need to look to see how you're being set up so that they can make more money. Bank will never give you anything where they're not making money. I'm just telling you. Okay. You control the loan with the principal payment right there. You control the loan with the principal payment. But Don, look at this interest payment, $2,450. Yeah, I know. But if I have a smaller principal payment, I can easier come up with $346. I can easier come up with the small principal payment to prepay to kill a ton of interest. What happens when I get a 20-year loan? Look at my principal payment now, $800. And I need you to focus in on one other thing here. How much is the interest payment? $2,450. How much is the interest payment on the 30-year loan, the very first interest payment? $2,450. Look at that. So to get rid of $2,400 in interest, all I have to do is come up with $346.28. The investors know that. So you go in there and say, I don't want to pay this loan for 30 years. And what you're going to get offered is a way not to pay the loan for 30 years, but it's actually going to make it harder for you to pay it off in 7. Oh my gosh. Okay. So look at this. I give them this money. The interest is the same. And to eliminate the $2,400 on line 2, I have to come up with a whole $810.96 now, because this is the way the loan is constructed. Folks, let me ask you, does this make sense to you as to why the bank does this? And what we don't know about an amortization schedule will fill an ocean. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know what part we're playing in this hierarchy of who makes money and who doesn't. We are actually participating in the wealth gap when we get a 20-year mortgage. Now, what about a 15? 15's got to be better, right? 15's got to be better. That's 180 payments. Let's see what happens. Same amount, 180. But look what it does to the payment, number one. It makes the payment $3,775. But, you know, Mr. Dave Ramsey says, if you can't afford a 15-year mortgage, you don't need the house. Look it up. Google it. Okay? There's a new search engine called Perplexity. Okay? Try it there. And it does a great job of finding stuff. Put in where he says that if you can't afford a 15-year mortgage, you can't afford the house. I'll never get a 15-year mortgage. As long as our business exists, we will never promote a 15-year mortgage. And here's why. Look at the first interest payment. It's $2,450. It's the exact same as the 30-year loan. And if I want to get rid of $2,400 in interest on the next line, what do I have to do? I have to come up with a whole $1,332.81 to get rid of $2,400 worth of interest I don't need to pay. When you look at it this way, can anybody make an argument for, and I mean, listen, of anybody who even disagrees with me, can you really make an argument for a 15-year mortgage? when it costs so much to eliminate $2,400 worth of interest? The idea of trying to pay the loan off fast is what causes this. What we should be learning how to do is pay the loan off cheap, not fast. So, folks, I'm just about out of time. But if you want to know more about this, how you can set your family up for success, how you can think differently about your money, how you can do what you want to do and help build wealth for your family, go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com. Okay? Go to ice10k.com and get a free savings and earnings report. We will show you a savings and earnings report where you will be able to see, and we'll give it to you for free. Okay? You just scroll down underneath ET's picture here and click on Get Your Savings and Earnings Report. Get your free savings and earnings report and start not just learning how much money you can save and when you can be out of debt. You start a whole new education process about your money. Get rid of everything you ever thought you knew about money and come here and learn what you were supposed to learn even in grade school, so that you can walk into the bank the very next time you go in, armed with knowledge to set up your loans in a way that benefit you and your family so you can get more for less. Education is the backbone of what we're doing here. So, does money answer all things? In the proper context, yes, it does, especially when you want to do what you are supposed to do to make sure you're preserving your wealth for your families and stop giving it over to bankers. Okay? Get your free savings report, and then you'll know the month, day, and year you'll be debt-free, how much interest you could save, and we'll also give you an idea of taking those interest savings and how much it will make for that money, how much it will make for your family if you choose to invest it. As I guarantee you, if you give it to the banks, they will invest it. Why can't you? Why can't you? Listen, I'm excited about this whole thing today. And I'm so energized, I can hardly even find the words to share with you. But listen, get this information out. Help me to share it with other people. Go and also become an affiliate. Fill this out. Go to ice10k.com and become an affiliate and share this with other people. Share the YouTube channel with other people. And when they want to know more, okay, you send them to us. And when they become a client, we'll pay you. You just tell us how you want to get paid. Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal. How do you want to get paid? It is possible that an affiliate with absolutely no sales experience, because you don't sell anything here, okay? We just help people. You don't sell anything. You just get them over to the YouTube channel, let them discover information just like you heard today. And then when they want to know more, you share that information with us, and we'll pay you anywhere from $300 to $3,000 a month just for doing that. Okay? So when they want to know more, you just scroll down underneath my picture, okay, and click on Refer a Friend, and you fill this out. Refer family and friends, refer those people, put their name in, their phone number, their email, their zip code, so we'll know when to call them. And you put in your name and number. So when they become a client, we'll let you know and we'll pay you. Okay? And then give us a little bit of information about them. All right? And then click submit. We get that information, and then we will then, when we get that information, we will work with them and help them to become a client, help them save money, help them get the education they need, and help them build generational wealth for their families. Okay, you can have a part of that. And here's the last part: get my book. Get the book. Then you can start learning the basics of interest cancellation. And I'm going to share this with you now. Okay, this is coming. This is coming soon. How would you like it if you could become an interest cancellation expert? How would you like to be able to share this information with your families, with your church, with your business, with your organization? How would you like to be able to do what we do here? We're going to be doing master classes, and we're going to be bringing people into Huntsville, Alabama, to be trained on how to become an interest cancellation expert. That is coming. We're building it right now so that more people can know what we are teaching here and be able to teach it to others. But the beginning is my book. Get the book, start learning now, and be ready for these master classes that we're going to be putting on online and live here in Huntsville. Okay, so folks, thank you very much for being here today. I was excited to bring this to you, but be back here on Sunday because I got something special to share with you on Sunday. Let's put up, all right, zombie mortgages. Listen, read the description on this. Zombie mortgages are coming back to life. There are second mortgages out there that are laying dormant. And because your houses are worth more now, they're coming back to life. And people who bought up these mortgages that you thought were gone are now coming to foreclose on your homes. We're going to be going into that and what you could do about it. These zombie mortgages are dangerous to your family and to your wealth. And they're trying to steal and even though you're current on your home, you're current on your mortgage, these zombie mortgages can come and take all of your equity away and leave you on the street homeless. You don't want to miss Sunday's presentation so that it doesn't happen to you. And if you know other people that are in this situation, you can help them as well. See you back here on Sunday, everybody. Thank you for being here. Happy Sabbath to you all. Don't call me tomorrow because I will be in church. See you on Sunday. Bye-bye. How many want to know how to pay off all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years? You can do all of this without refinancing, without change to your budget, without sacrificing lifestyle.
Me and my husband do the P.I.L.L method, and last year we were able to pay down $33,000 on our mortgage without feeling like we were poor. We still did tons of entertaining things and enjoyed our family.
You don't have to eat beans and rice every day. You don't have to cut up your credit cards. You don't have to drive a 30-year-old car. You don't have to sell pizzas at night to pay off your mortgage. All you need to do is pay the bank less interest. That's what we're talking about today. Here is what P.I.L.L method stands for: prepayment of principal, isolation of principal amounts, leverage, and liquidity. You understand it? You have a way of getting out of debt more efficiently. The interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you pay. You think you're buying a $500,000 home. The true cost of that home is what? $758,000. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 51.777%. That's what's going on with this loan. The ability to read and defeat an amortization schedule is not taught at any level of financial education. I need you to understand the power of a penny. You will not hear what I'm talking about from Dave Ramsey. Do you know why? Because I own the copyright. I literally wrote the book.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.